Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Collin CP3850 and I'm a sales engineer here at Rhino Toolhouse. And today I'm going to show you the ultimate material removal tool, the CP3850 grinder and sander from Chicago Pneumatic. Pictured here you'll see my wife, our two dogs, and this was about 2 months before we were blessed with our my little man, Noah Daniel, here on the right. You'll also see a little heart around MSOE. My wife and I, we met in college at the Milwaukee School of Engineering, where I was studying industrial engineering or manufacturing engineering, much like many of you folks. As an industrial engineer, it is my passion and I'm driven to help you become more productive, build better quality parts, and ultimately keep your workers safe. As mentioned, I work for a nationwide company, Rhino Toolhouse, and we have over 80 sales and application engineers that span across about 30 states here in the US. It is our mission at Rhino Toolhouse to identify and deliver the world's most innovative industrial solutions. And I'm really excited to show you today's product because it captures what drives me, that being productivity, quality, and safety, and also our mission here at Rhino Toolhouse of innovation. But before I get into that, I wanted to quick stop and tell you a short story. So about 4 years ago, my mother-in-law was looking for a new blender. And some may think, a blender is a commodity item. But regardless of whatever my mother-in-law is buying, she is super diligent. So she did her research. She looked at, tens of reviews and found that the best blender and the best bang for her buck was this Vitamix blender. And she ended up spending $400 for it, and I was like, oh my gosh, $400 for a blender, that's a commodity item. And honestly, some of you may think this grinder is a commodity item. But regardless, she ended up forking over $400 while I still had my beautiful magic bullet that was about $50 that I had from college. And this was great, right? I used it once or twice a month, maybe to make some pina coladas for the boys or whatever it might be. But I then met my girlfriend, now wife, and the Magic Bullet only made smoothies or pina coladas for one. We now had two. So we upgraded to this KitchenAid here in the middle, and the KitchenAid was about $150. And that was great for a while until we needed a little bit more. It wasn't crushing the ice like my wife wanted it to. So we got married, and we ended up registering for this Ninja Pro. And again, the Ninja Pro was great, but it really didn't slice up the vegetables like we wanted it to. Yeah, the pun was intended there. The Ninja was slicing. But anyway, that's besides the point. So you got it. This past Christmas, I ended up forking over $470 for the beautiful Vitamix. Yes, inflation is real, people. $470. Not the $400 that my mother-in-law spent, $400 for what some may think is a commodity item. And, if I would have just bought this right away, I would have saved myself in reality some money because I wouldn't have been buying blender after blender after blender. And that might be something that you're running into with your grinders. You're treating your grinders as a commodity, when in reality there are great quality grinders that will last forever, much like this CP3850 from Chicago Pneumatic. So with that, I want to dive into a little bit more about the grinder, but what I want you to do first is to imagine this coronavirus is clear, you're at work, you're sitting in your cube or at your office, and you're ready to take a walk. You're ready to go do your daily walk out to the weld area or the finishing area, and you walk under, the welding sheets, much like shown in this image here. You see the welders at work, or artists, if you want to call them that, with their welding torch, whether they're MIG or TIG welding, or their grinder being their paintbrush. You then walk over to the abrasive shelf or cabinet, whatever it might be at your facility, and you notice that no orders are needed to be taken. You don't need more abrasive. When on a typical day, you'd be ordering more grinder wheels or more abrasive. You then walk over to the staging area, and typically the staging area is backed up, right? Tons of work to be done, but today it's not backed up. That finishing process, that grinding process that used to be the bottleneck is a bottleneck no more. Lastly, you go back to your desk, you're sitting there, and you never once received that phone call that one of your welders were injured because of guard negligence. Now, what you're imagining here, this can become a reality with the CP3850, this non-commodity grinder. So let's dive into the grinder. The first thing I want to point out about the CP3850 is that it has the largest or the best power to weight ratio on the market. Yes, this 2.8 horsepower grinder only weighs 5 pounds. Pretty crazy. Next, it has a governed motor. So what that helps with is, regardless of how hard that operator is pressing on the workpiece, that RPM is going to continue and they're going to get that consistent finish that they're looking for. Next, it has an extremely compact design, as you can see. So I can easily see my workpiece regardless of the angle that I'm grinding at. Another cool feature is this rotational exhaust. So the rotational exhaust ensures that the recycled air is never being blown back into the operator's face, again, regardless of the angle that they're operating it at. This adjustable handle is also really cool. Every operator is different, every application is different, and this adjustable handle makes sure that the operator's always in an ergonomic work position. From a safety perspective, this guard features 220 degrees of protection, and it's also rotatable. So again, regardless of the application, we can always ensure that the sparks or debris are always flying away from the operator. Another cool safety feature is the dual handle engagement. So I have to ensure that my thumb is pressing this button on top while my index finger is pressing the trigger to engage the grinder. And this ensures that, you know, there aren't any accidents pertaining to someone accidentally touching the trigger when they didn't want to. The last thing I want to point out is the angled rear handle. And a lot of you probably think that's simple, but to me, this is the most powerful thing about this tool. This is what makes this tool and allows you to purchase it. And it's what gives it the bang for its buck, right? This angled handle ensures that my grinding surface is always touching perfectly the work surface. And there have been countless studies done that shows that this increases the productivity and the lifetime of your abrasive by 15%. This is what keeps the abrasive in your shelves fully stocked. So depending on the application, that alone can pay for this grinder in itself, right? So if you're looking to revolutionize your process, if you're looking for a non-commoditized item in a world that a lot of people feel is a commoditized space, and you're looking to not, I mean, this grinder is going to cost in relation to the rest of the grinders that you're currently purchasing in most cases. But if any of those are what you're looking for, this is the grinder for you, the Chicago Pneumatic CP3850. Now, before I leave you, I want to share two other cool products that we see used a lot with the CP3850. The first is actually behind me right here. It's the Iron Hand by BioServo. And what this is it's an active wearable that can be worn like a glove. It can go underneath, you know, the current gloves that some of your finishers may be wearing. But essentially what it does is it increases your grip endurance, and there's a servo in each individual index. So there are 5 individual servos, and you can program them all individually to give you different grip pressure, much like when grabbing this grinder, right? Your thumb has to have a grip pressure, and your index finger has to have a grip pressure to ensure that, you know, if I'm doing this all day, I'm not getting worn out or tired from it. The next product is a simple one, but a cool one. It's the Flex Swivel connector, and this is also from Chicago Pneumatic. But what this does is it gives the operator freedom of movement, much like making, you know, an air hose tool a wireless tool. It ensures that the battles with the air hose happen no more. So with that, I'd like to thank you for listening to me today. If any of this interests you, please reach out to your local sales engineer or go to rhinotoolhouse.com and fill out an inquiry. We'd be more than happy to help you out. Also, please check out our YouTube page. We have plenty of videos and cool technology up there, one of which features the BioServo that I quickly mentioned. So again, thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure, and stay well.